Hi, everybody. Diana here at Heartfelt Creative. Welcome to this week's edition of Sewing Common Sunday. I hope everyone has had a great week. We have had rain and sunshine and all kinds of stuff here where we are, but overall it was a good week. It was a busy week, but a good week. So this week I went back to working on my Sewcialites blocks, and that's the block I'm going to show you today, what I've done with that. And then I have some goodies to show you. Thought I'd do a little show and tell for us today. So let's see. Oh, I wanted to thank everybody. It seems like you all really liked last week's Sew in Common with the machine embroidery, and I'm so glad. I love machine embroidery. And there, whoops, kind of crooked at the moment, but there's my little piece that I was making. I'm gonna rehang it up here and all, but well, it'll just be crooked for now, I guess, but I'm going to rehang it and put the other clock back up there. But I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I really love it, machine embroidery. And since people really seem to like it, I'll for sure do more of those. Maybe even get some little free projects or something, like mini ones that I can show you how to do or something. But thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate that a lot. And it seems like this last week's quilting library block was enjoyed quite a bit too, so that's great. So, oh, let's see, do we want to do goodies first or do we want to do the block first? Let's do goodies first. Let's do show and tell first. I'll put my blocks over to the side. So this week, I just have to say the other day, so today's Sunday, Saturday, Friday, I went a little crazy. A big online retailer, fabric shop that Missouri Star Quilt Company, I'll just say it. They had a huge sale going on, and I bought a ton of panels because they're going to be a gift. Well, I can't say it because if he sees this. So anyway, I bought a ton of panels, and I went a little crazy. Do I dare tell you I bought over 30 of them? I did. So those haven't come in yet, but when they come in, I'll show them to you because they're really cool. Most of them are a very specific theme, and they're going to be used in a very specific project quilt that I'm going to make. So, you know, I kind of had to get them all, but the ones that I didn't have to get, I got anyway. Alrighty. So, but what I also did, I think this was last week because this showed up this week, was I started to order a little holiday Christmassy type fabric. I haven't found anything for Hanukkah yet, but that usually takes a little time and it's a little harder to find. But I did order some Christmassy fabrics. This first one I'm going to show you, oh my gosh, I just adore, I adore poinsettias. And every year, the whole fireplace, the mantle, the all around the sides, it's all decorated with poinsettias, and I love them. White ones, red ones, pink ones, I don't care. They're beautiful. And so I got this fabric. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I'm going to put it really close. Those deep, deep greens and that super deep red just makes those white poinsettias just pop out. And I know this is Riley Blake. Yeah, Riley Blake, trying to find out the name of it for you all. Riley Blake's Farmhouse Christmas by, I have to get mine. Oh, I don't have my, do I not have them here? Oh, they're there. My magnifiers. I have to see them consistently. This is by Echo Park Paper Company. It's brand new for 2021, done through Riley Blake. And isn't that just the most beautiful fabric? I don't know what I'm going to make with it for the holidays yet, but there will be something. And I just thought it was so beautiful. So I got a yard of that. So I know that I did a video for us all on like how I do my scraps and everything, because folks were asking, excuse me, folks are asking. I've also been getting questions about, oh, I ordered this through the Fat Quarter shop. If you can't find it at your local because you should always look at your local, support your local businesses, folks. If you can't find it there, I found this through Fat Quarter Shop. So I've been getting a new question, not how do I do my scraps, but when I buy my fabric, what amounts do I purchase of a single fabric at one time? And if I know it's going to go in a quilt, if I'm like, that's going in a quilt, I do 3 yards. If I know I love it, but I don't know if it's going to be part of a quilt or a wall hanging or, you know, maybe placemats or something, I just buy a yard. If I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it, I buy a yard. If I start to use it and I know, oh gosh, I really love this, then I get back online and I order a couple more yards for it, or I go to my local shop and I order a couple or buy a couple more yards of it. Farmhouse Christmas, Echo Park, Riley Lake, beautiful. So I hope that answers the question for the folks that texted me and asked, how much do I buy at one time? That's how much I buy at one time. Now this one, I did not get this through Fat Quarter Shop. I got this somewhere else, and I will tell you in a minute. I'm trying to find the names because there's lots of prints in this collection, lots of pieces, and I ordered several of them. It's a little, you know, to be honest, except for one of these prints, I will use this for things other than Christmas and the holidays because it's pinks and greens and reds. Oh, this is also Riley Blake from Christopher Thompson. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's called Holly Holiday from Christopher Thompson for Riley Blake. That's one of them. That's just, now that might look a little black on your screen. Yeah, I guess it is black. I was thinking maybe it was blue, but yeah. I love that. I love the pink with the red and the gray and the green. Actually, what looks gray here is green. So that's one of them. And then this one, this is going in my white bucket because I just have to have it in my white bucket. Because there will be times when I want to do whites and I want that little print on there. Isn't that pretty? So delicate and sweet. This is all part of the Holly Holiday line from Christopher Thompson through Riley Blake. That's gorgeous. And so I love that white one so much. It also came with a green background. Oh, yummy, 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 yummy. I love that. And then let's see. Oh, also sometimes, so like all of these, I've ordered a yard, but sometimes because you can do this online, if I just see something and I go, wow, I really like that, but I don't want to buy a bunch of them in that collection, that I just want that one. I don't know what I'm going to do it for. I might buy as little as a half a yard. I don't typically ever buy less than a half yard. If I have specific fat quarters cut for me, I'm having them cut for a specific project that I know all I need is a fat quarter of all of these to make this project. Then I'll have my local shop cut fat quarters for me. Otherwise, half yard is the minimum that I tend to buy because I'll tell you why. Here's the reason. Where is that? Oh, here. So there is a tulip pink fabric that I've had. It's this one. And all I had left of it after doing some things recently was this. That's all I had left. And I love it so much. The color, the blues and the aquas and the greens. Oh, I just love it. And I couldn't find it. And I was in my local quilt shop yesterday. They didn't have any more on the bolt, but when I went over and looked, they have pre-folded half yards and fat quarters. They had 1/2 yard left of it. You know, I grabbed that up. I don't know what see all the last couple of weeks, every time I turned around, it's like that fabric would be so good here. So I don't know if I'll ever be able, this might be the last of it. So I may have to pet it for a while. I don't know. But that's why I get half yards, because you'll end up needing it typically, especially if you love it, if it's a fabric you love. Yeah. So I showed you the green flower. Now y'all are going to lose your mind when you see these next two. These next two are the same pattern, but one is in a red background and one is in a pink background. So I'm going to show you the red. That's the most traditional. Isn't that pretty? Oh, it just makes me want to curl up with a cup of hot chocolate and a good movie and some freshly baked cookies and get ready for the holidays. That's what that puts me in the mind of. Now, get ready. Do you ever think about maybe doing like a small throw for the holidays? You don't want to do a big, huge, maybe holiday quilt, but you want to do a throw. Or maybe you want to do one for your child's room and you just want to do a small size because you just want something special to kind of perk up their bedrooms during the holidays. Wouldn't this be beautiful as a holiday one for a girl's room? Oh my gosh, that pink is so pretty. I will be completely honest with you. I grew up not being a pink person at all. In fact, I was always told, you don't look good in pink by a parent. I won't say which one, but you don't look good in pink. Can't do pink. Don't do pink. So I grew up not liking pink. And in all honesty, I don't really wear pink very often. It's just not something I wear, but I love, there are certain pinks, those blushy pinks and peachy pinks. Oh my gosh, I love them. And that is just, that's like strawberry ice cream pink right there. Oh my goodness, it's so pretty. So that was my little splurge this week, or my little ode to getting ready for the holidays. So like I said, I have no idea what I'm going to do with these, but I will do something and it will be gorgeous. Thinking maybe I could do some pieced a table mat and maybe some cushion covers, some simple cushion covers with that large print. That would be lovely to have sitting around during the holidays, just to give the sofa a little bit of holiday pizzazz. Because what I do is I have a couple of pillows out on the sofa, and I make all my pillow forms basically the same size so that I can just switch out the covers on them. But that was this week's little fun find. Alrighty, guys. So I'll show you, just for those of you who haven't seen yet, I am doing some of the Sewcialite blocks that was a free sew along through the Fat Quarter Shop. I will put the link here because I believe you can still get the blocks. The quilt along that they did and the big quilt, that's finished now, but I believe you can still get the blocks, and I put links on the other ones where I've done that. So I'm going to put the link here again for you so that you can grab the blocks if you want. A bunch of designers put together free blocks and put them out there so that they could do the sew along. They actually pieced it into a large quilt, which you can do too, but I'm not doing, because I kind of came about finding it really late into the sew along. I mean, they only had 3 or 4 weeks left. So I'm just making some of the blocks I love, and I'm just making myself a nice, I'm just going to do a nice wall hanging of some of the blocks that I love. It's going to be simple, and mine is completely scrappy. Like, none of my blocks have the same fabrics in it, but I started out with this one, and then we had this. I always have to make sure I fold it. This one, the little sewing machine, isn't that darling? And they're all just 2 fabrics. Today's is 3, and I'll tell you what in a minute. And then that was the last one I did. And so all of these have a Sew in Common Sunday episode. If you go back here and look at the Sew in Common playlist, you'll see the block picture on the thumbnail, and that way you'll know which one I showed you, which block. But this one this week, so the patterns are great because you can do 3, 6, or 9-inch blocks finished. Gives you all the cutting instructions, really easily understandable directions for piecing. What I love about how they do their block layouts and their instructions at Fat Quarter Shop is they do it mostly through pictures, right? A little bit of words, nice, great pictures, which I love. I'm really visual that way, so I love that. And so I I chose, oh, and it tells you up at the top, it tells you the name of the block, the number it was in the series, and who designed it. So this week's block I chose was number 11, and it's called the Cheer block, C-H-E-E-R, Cheer, as in go team. Designed by Barbara Groves and Mary Jacobson from Me and My Sister Designs, which I love those ladies. They're so great. This block came together so easily because it's basically 4 half square triangles and 4 patches and 1 square. So I'm going to flip the camera over and show you. There we go. That's this week's block. So you might recognize it like immediately. It's a friendship star, right? See our friendship star right there? And instead of just doing straight background blocks in the corners, they put in these 4 patches, which was genius. I loved it. It really brought something new to that little friendship star. Now, it should have been where this center was this color, right? Because a lot of times your whole star is one color, but there's nothing to say that you can't switch it out and do a different center. I do that quite often, actually. And I did it today. There we go. There's my flowers they're kind of going in the right direction now. And I did that today because of what I chose my fabric from. So I'm going to flip the camera back over. And I belong to one of those monthly box subscription clubs. And I love it. I've been part of it for, well, since it started, so several years now. And every month you get some sort of fabric typically in there. And some months it's like we've gotten like mini layer cakes, like smaller layer cakes. And sometimes, a lot of times, we get charm packs. And sometimes they're nice enough because the pattern that comes in there, if you want to do it, took 2. They sent us 2 charm packs. I love this. This is called the Seamstress. That's the name of the fabric. Isn't that cool? And it's by, hang on, got to put on the magnifiers again. Tiny writing. Oh, this is, I didn't even look at this earlier. Okay, so I have a friend who's going to want this because this is by Edyta Sitar from Laundry Basket Quilts. Of course, it's beautiful. I didn't recognize it because it's not well, it's not in her kind of a typical blues. She does, I know she does other colors, but she does a lot of blues. So this is Edyta Sitar's new fabric. So I'm going to hold this up for you. So you get 1 or 2 of all the fabrics in the line, and aren't they pretty? Very actually. So that looks to me like oranges, although they're just little berries when I look close. But there is that one I was just flipping through, and it was little, oh, of course I can't find it easily now that I want to, but it was little leaves. So this is very much something could be used in autumn designs, in autumn quilt. And so if you're new to quilting, get yourself a charm pack, lay them out in rows. Don't worry about how they go together. Just be random. Sew them together, quilt them, and make yourself a mini quilt and see how easy it is to do some quilting. I mean, that's the easiest basic quilting project you can do. So I had these 2 charm packs, and in here there wasn't 3 squares of any particular fabric. There was only 2, which is the way charm packs normally work, right? So I chose a 3rd fabric for my center square because I've been telling you that all of my squares have only, like, this is 2 Tula Pinks. This is 2 Lori Holtz. I'm not sure, but this is 2 fabrics as well. So I just went through and I grabbed 2 blocks like this, 2 blocks like this, and wait, do I have 4 fabrics in here? 1, 2, 3. Oh, I do have 4 in here. Whoops, sorry. Okay, so let me just flip the camera. It's easier to show you this way. So I had 2 of these and 2 of these that made my half square triangles, because you have 4 half square triangles. easy, right? And then I had another block like this and 2 blocks like this, I believe. No, 1 block like this. And I made my 4 little 4 patches. And then I chose that 4th fabric to do my center square. Now, because this is a center square here, what I could do if I wanted, when I go to quilt, I could do some really pretty intricate quilting in there to kind of really show it off. Or I could take this block over to my embroidery machine. So here's a tip for you embroiderers when you do your quilting blocks. I could take this now over and hoop it up in my embroidery machine with some stabilizer, and I could pick a sweet little pattern, maybe a little flower, or maybe my initial or something, a monogram, and put it right there in that center block. So you can do a lot of things on your quilt blocks when they have open space like that. And then one other thing I will show you is on my 4 patches, just when I was sewing the 2 together, because I chain pieced, I also opened those seams and pressed them open. I know I don't press open. I was very anxious when I was doing it. I did set my stitch length down to a 1.8, and I kept it at a 2 for everything else. Everything else, I just pressed to the dark side like I always do. But this did help me on these little 4 patches to have the seams between the 2 blocks be open. It did take away some of that bulk. And because this is a fairly small block and I made my stitch length smaller, I'm okay with that. I gave it a try. I was brave and gave it a try. If something happens to it, then I'll know never to do it again. It's not like something I'm going to start doing all the time, but with this smaller block, it really helped, because I found out, I tried it on this block in the heart in the center to get rid of some of that bulk. I did it there and it worked. So I tried it again and it worked again. So I'm not saying it doesn't work. I just have some scientific reasons not to open my seams like that, but sometimes you just have to be brave and do it. And then again, so I needed both of these packs, although I only took a couple of squares from each pack. I needed both of them to get the squares that I needed. But think about using your charm packs when you're doing your scrappy quilts and your scrappy blocks, because that, I mean, this is scrappy, but it's curated in the way that this is all a curated set. And it made that beautiful scrappy looking block. Now, if you did a whole quilt in that, wouldn't that be beautiful? So there were a couple of other things I wanted to show you today that I used. So in the past, I've always showed you where I've used a magic wand to make my half square triangles. And I still did that, but I found a new one. It's called Quilter's Magic Wand. And it's from studio180designs.com. And it's colored. It's got this yellowish color on it. And for me, it made it a little bit easier to see, and it doesn't have a point on the end. See the difference there? Let's see. I know it's kind of hard to see. Point, well, point, there you go. No point, just flat. And I liked that because, in all honesty, when I was making my half square triangles, let's say this was it, I didn't, with this one, I always line it up in the corner like that to make sure. But sometimes with the longer one, it makes me have to put this in a certain way because I get all of the extra wand out this way. So with this one, because there's no fancy edge on it, I could just plop it down here any way I want. And as long as my line is here and my line is here, then I know where I'm supposed to be and I can mark. So I like this one quite a bit. This was something I got a couple of weeks ago. And I will put the link to this along with the link to the Sewcialites quilt on today's description. And then there was one other thing I used. So the other thing that I don't typically do as a quilter is I don't chain piece. I know you don't chain piece. What's that about? Everybody chain pieces, and a lot of quilters do. For me, chain piecing makes my head hurt. I don't know why, but it gets me discombobulated. But today on this block, when I was sewing all these 2 patches together to make my 4 patches, I chain pieced them. I know, sometimes you just have to let yourself grow a little bit. And what I did is I've had this for a long, super long time. You may recognize it. It's a thread cutter. And I've always thought, well, it doesn't really, when I'm sewing something, I don't, it's big, bulky, and I'll just use my scissors. But I tried it today when I chain pieced all of these little blocks together, and I just went bing, 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 right? Put that string right over that there's a teeny tiny little razor blade in there. Ding, 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 and it popped them all apart. Now, to be honest, full disclosure, this is what I normally use. And I was able to use, I could have done it just as fast with these, just as fast. But I was thinking about what would make this something that somebody would find more helpful if they're used to using their scissors and they like them. Well, one, if you have a big pair of scissors and you don't have any small ones yet, because maybe you're fairly new to quilting and you haven't, you don't have a ton of scissors yet, but you have a nice big pair for cutting fabric, right? These are all metal. These are heavy. And so trimming all your tiny little threads with big scissors could be kind of cumbersome. I mean, it could be done, but it would be kind of cumbersome. So if you don't have small scissors, this would be great for that, because it was just literally, I should have sewn two together. Let me see, do I have anything? I don't have anything put together that I could take apart for you, but when you sew them together, you have that tiny little string between all the pieces that you've chained together, and you just put that little string over and it just cuts it right apart. Here was the other thing that I thought this would be really useful for stitchers that have a little bit of problem with their hands. So I've had carpal tunnel surgery on both of my hands in the past, but I regained full function of my hands. I don't, occasionally, it gets a little sore in here, but I mean, it's pretty rare. I just have regular use of my hands. I'm really fortunate. But some stitchers might be of an age where they're starting to get a little arthritis in their hands, or maybe their hands get sore for other reasons. Having something like this so that you're not constantly scissoring and just going boom, 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 could take stress off of your hands. I'm gonna flip back over now. Could take stress off your hands. And so this could be super handy. Now, I got this from the Quilty Box Company. I don't know how it came to be in my possession. It might have been something like that was a gift in a gift bag or something. So this one is called sunflowerquilts.com. I will look and see if they still make these. If they do, I'll put a link in the description as well for you. If they don't, I'll see if I can find one that does. Well, I tell you what, Tuesdays, or not Tuesdays, but Good Gadgets this week, I am looking at the Gypsy Quilter. We're going to look at Gypsy Quilter products specifically. And I know that they make something like this. So watch Good Gadgets this week, and you'll be able to find a contraption like that, a tool like that, a gadget like that. I love gadgets. So, it sits over by it actually sits over by my embroidery machine, but now I'm going to have to sit it right next to my regular sewing machine, because if ever I do my chain piecing, then I can just pop those open with this. So that's where that's going to go. All righty. Is that everything I wanted to show you this week? Yep. So I'll put the link where you can go and get the pattern if you want to do any of the blocks. If you want to do the blocks I'm doing, cool, that's cool. Remember, if you, when you post pictures, regardless of where you post them, if you do hashtag SEW, so beautiful, HC, so beautiful, HC. I had to put that HC for Heartfelt Creative on there because there's already a hashtag out there called So Beautiful, and it's lots of other non-quilting type things. So hashtag So Beautiful HC, then I can look that up and see what you're making. Or if you can't remember that, but you want to be a part of a pretty cool group, you can come and join us at Sew in Common on Facebook as well. And we would love to have you. Everyone there is great, friendly, and helpful. And you're more than welcome to come. So if you are with us for the first time and you enjoyed today's little, Sew in Common is just kind of my video diary on Sundays. These are things I'm working on. You don't need to work on them necessarily. I'm not suggesting that you work on them. I'm just showing you kind of what I'm working on, because I get asked a lot, what do you work on? What do you work on that isn't something that you're doing for Heartfelt Creative? So I thought I would show you on a Sunday and spend a little time with you that way. But please subscribe to the YouTube channel, because there's Sew in Common series, there's my Good Gadgets series, and there's my Quilting Library series. Quilting Library always comes out on Monday at 1 p.m. Central Time. Good Gadgets comes out at some day throughout the week. And I never tell you when, because I like to throw it out there as a little, oh, there's something new to watch, just kind of as a surprise. I hope you all have a great week coming up. Let's see what you're making. You know, that line, that credit card line, what's in your wallet? What's on your sewing machine? We'd love to see it. Thanks everybody for spending a little bit of your time with me. I appreciate it no end. And we'll see you again soon. Okay, go sew life beautiful now. Bye now.